we have Menace Among Us from Smirk and Dagger games. And this is it was proposed as a BSG Express sort of thing. It's
Battlestar Galactica, for those who don't know what BSG stands for.
Yes. And it is meant to condense the feeling that you would get from that game into about 40 to 60 minutes. It actually says 40 to 60 minutes on the box, and we've stayed pretty much within that spectrum each time we've played it.
Yeah.
Now, we've all played this at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a semi-cooperative social deduction game. So you have the two traders, or in this case, they call them the Menace players.
Yeah, if you have 5 or more players, there's 2.
Oh,
if you
I said
only
2,
have
but
4,
yeah, you're right.
there's only 1. And it's 4 to 8 players game, so you'll have at least 4 players. So right off the bat, like, we played a 4-player game, just the 4 of us.
Right.
And I think it didn't necessarily shine because it was Chris's and Philip's first time playing it. And I think probably if you play 4 players, you want to be really familiar with the game.
Yeah.
That, and also just it feels weird because in a 4-player game you only have 1 menace, and it's just kind of, you don't have anyone to play off of. Like, I feel like the game, you really need that second menace to play off of.
Was this one of the games? There are other games with like the traitor, menace, saboteur, mechanic, where like 4 people, but there are 5 roll cards. So there's a possibility that there is no menace.
There's definitely a menace.
There is definitely a menace every play.
The game is called The Menace Among Us.
All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
which I didn't realize.
It's not like
I didn't
Dead of
realize
Winter
there was
where
a
you could
D.
get no
where there
traitor.
could be no traitors.
Correct.
Or you'll accidentally mix in all the traitors and 1 good person, like I did one time.
That was a great game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It was doomed from the start. But so yeah, we did.
We've played this a few times now.
And
We've done 5-player, 8-player.
The first time we played was 8-player, and that was a quick game.
Yeah.
Like
It was. Well,
I mean, we died pretty quick.
It's because I
but
screwed up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I grabbed the gun.
in this game, you are trying to get I'm going to describe the game now. Trying to get your engine all the way back up to working condition because it has stopped working and oxygen is depleting. You're trying to do that before you run out of oxygen, so it can, I guess, start making oxygen because that's how science space works. And each turn, a player can either play a card from their hand,
Refill their hand.
draw a card, or use a special action on their ability card that they have in front of them. And so in a round, there's a mission leader. Like in a lot of social deduction games, there's going to be one person that's collecting everything. They're going to, whatever they're doing. In this, you need to have at least as many cards going as there are half of the players rounded up. So if there's 5 of us, we need to have at least 3 cards contributed. Otherwise, Emma, the emergency maintenance assistant, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Okay. Is going to contribute cards to it also, and some of those can be bad.
Yes. Well, and not every card that every player, good players do not have all good cards either. The way that the decks are built, you can sometimes have some neutrals or bad cards in a good player's deck, just because everybody has a role, and your role might dictate that you need to kill somebody, kind of thing.
Yeah, or injure someone.
Yeah.
And so with these cards, you're trying to get the energy all the way back to working order. Unless you're the menace, you're trying to actually get the oxygen level to go down and everyone to die. Or you can just injure everyone to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's technically 2 ways you could play as the menace player, just trying to kill everyone one way or the other. So, did I do a pretty good description of the gameplay?
For the most
Sure,
part.
I think so.
The basics.
Yeah.
So in this game, in the 5-player, I think is a shining starting point for this game,
Right,
because you get that second menace in there.
second menace.
And you have a different dynamic with that, I think. And when we did our 5-player game of this, it was pretty nice. We had people like accusing people left and right and say, okay, no, I think this guy over here, it's like this side of the table's fine. This side of the table, I'm pretty sure these people are bad over here. And it was really fun going back and forth like that.
It was, yeah. We were all accusing each other.
I think what makes the 5-player and what makes the 4-player because it's when you're playing us 4, I know 100% what everybody else. Like if I'm the menace,
if you're the menace,
if I'm the menace, I know everybody else is against me.
Correct.
And also, if you get an inkling, you 100% know he's the only, or like, I mean, even if you don't 100% know, but like, even if he gets it, you know that if I can prevent him, then chances are I'm probably gonna with 5, and you have 2. I don't 100% know if I'm the menace who the other menace is, and B, even if you think that I'm the menace, if you're wrong, or even if you're right, there's still somebody else out there that could be advancing my plot.
Correct.
Yeah.
So as the menace, I could then, it offers new roles because, like, if I'm the only menace and then I lean into that by thinking about it, then I'm not advancing my agenda. Whereas in a 5-player game, if there's a second menace, I can lean into the menace and get all your attention on me while they're sneaking in. You know, somebody else is sneaking in cards to...
Yep.
Well, 2 things on that. Not actually going against you, just an addition to what you're saying. So you made me think about it. If you are the menace and you are found out, you are not necessarily out of the game.
Right.
It's only if you are killed that you are out of the game. So you can still try to kill everyone even after they find you out. I just thought that was something I wanted to get out
There's
there.
no elimination.
Yeah, unless you're killed.
Because that's normally a win-lose condition. It's like if you're found out, you've lost, game over, reset.
But also there is, so with the wounding people, so if you get 2 wounds, you're dead. But the first wound you get, they are given to you as cards, and the cards have different...
Sometimes they have a text ability type thing.
Sometimes they do nothing. Sometimes they say... one of the ones we got in our last game was you can't talk
about the game at all.
Anything game related, you can't talk. So like if she needed to say like I need to go to the bathroom, like she could. But it's like, what do you think we should do? And she's just like,
I can't do it. I can't say anything.
It's just you can't talk. You can make grunts. It's like
grunt twice for no.
Now we're playing with Tim the Toolman Taylor.
So one of the things about I feel like being a menace is sure people might be accusing you, but I still think it's kind of hard to completely know who the menaces might be, because like I said, other people in the game could have bad cards in their decks,
right?
And all the cards are shuffled, so you might know, okay, Chris contributed and Philip contributed and Collin contributed cards, so I know that their 3 cards are in here, but I don't know who played what because it's all shuffled. And then there, like Collin was saying, there's the Emma, who if you have less than the required number of cards, a lot of the Emma cards, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's some bad Emma cards in there too.
There's at least one of every type of bad card in the deck.
And so it's like you can take guesses all you want, but you may not truly know who the menace is because there's bad cards in every deck.
That's true.
And so we talked about accusing something, like finding out the menace player. There is a feature in this. It's the what was it? It's the like decision pistol or something. Oh, I forget what it is now. Darn. But anyway, there's a gun.
Yeah.
And
voting pistol?
Voting pistol, that's it, yeah. So you can discuss and vote if you want in this game. Like
I would put a Nerf gun in this, by the way, because that's what it looks like.
That would be
fun. The voting pistol looks like a Nerf. It's a cardboard.
And then whoever you decide to accuse, you just shoot them with a Nerf dart.
Yeah.
So
Bing, right in the forehead.
So yeah, you can vote and say, okay, you want to call a vote and try to cast someone out, and then on the count of 3, you all point at who you want to vote out, and then that can get some things going too. Did we lose something?
No, I was just double checking.
Oh, okay.
I had one of those like paranoid, like, did I hit record?
So you can do that, but there is the voting pistol on the table, and if someone grabs that, you have to vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Cindy did that in our 8-player game. And Kurt was in our. He was like watching over the game
from Smirk and Dagger.
Yeah. He was watching over the game, and Cindy said, "Oh no, I didn't." I said, "Too late. You grabbed it. No take backs."
Them's the rules.
Yeah.
I said that we all died.
It says that in the rules, like no take backs.
Yeah, we all died. It was bad.
Yeah. So, I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and a few of the people that we showed it to actually one of them was like looking into getting it because he said this set like a little bit more meaty than like the Resistance.
That's what I was going to mention is, most of the social deduction kind of games, it's a tiny little card box of some sort. Think like One Night Ultimate Werewolf or
the Resistance, Secret Hitler.
Yeah, that's a bigger box. But you also...
It's a smaller game.
Yeah, Spyfall, all these small games. This is like a full-on... I mean, it's not exactly the Ticket to Ride size box, but it's close.
Yeah.
And
yes.
There's a lot of game to this. It's not just the social deduction. That's not the only kind of mechanics. There's a lot of other game to this.
Yeah, yeah. And there is... So one of the players... We had another game day since we played that 5-player game, and one of the players that was in that, people were coming down looking at our shelves and say, hey, if you want to get a good game, you should try Menace Among Us.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we got other people recommending the game.
Hey.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I think my only negative about this game is the setup time with putting the decks together.
Well, you can do that ahead of time.
You can. Like, if you know you have a game day coming up, you could. But even once people choose their roles, each of the different roles have different cards you need to grab. And so you could set up the decks, the however many players you have. So if you have 5 players, 3 good guys, 2 menace players. But then you still have to add cards later, and that's my only beef about this game is the setup.
Yeah, and there's not enough cards, I'm assuming, to where you could make them pre-decks.
Yeah, you can't make everything now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different characters, or agendas, I should say. Well, no, they're abilities.
The
they're
agendas
characters.
you could set up, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the different character cards. They have their own deck setups.
And there's a lot of variety of crew members.
So you said like the agendas. You said the agendas you could set up beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the agenda
which is like half the deck.
Oh.
Because the agenda is either crew member or menace.
Right.
And then each player gets a character card, which has their own set of.
Oh well,
cards.
you really wouldn't want to set those up beforehand.
Because each player is actually dealt 3 of those character cards, so they can pick their character from.
Yeah. Oh well, you could.
What?
I think you're trying to say if you set up the Menace and crew member deck,
and then all of a sudden he took one of the Menace decks.
Yeah.
But if you have them all if you have the agendas rubber banded to each other, and then you deal out 3 agendas.
Yeah. He was saying if you had the deck set up, then if that's the Menace deck and Philip grabs that deck, then Philip's the Menace.
Well, you do. There is like a close your eyes and
one
like
person closes their
stuff.
everyone closes their eyes except one. The last person mixes them around. Then that person closes their eyes, and someone else mixes them around. So no one knows which deck to switch.
Where the
Gotcha.
Menace is.
I thought that was they
That's
did that.
pretty cool.
They did something kind of. It's like, oh, that's so simple, but it's like it makes sense. With We Need to Talk. Like they have the little slide,
2 people shuffle
the hot cold meter in there. It was something really simple, but in this, having just at different times,
you're talking.
It's just the simple concept that's like, oh, I don't know why I never thought of that.
You're not saying that Menace Among Us had a similar.
No, I was saying
it's just
feeling,
something.
Yeah,
something simple that makes it an easier setup or easier to do something. Okay.
So, I think this has made room in our collection for a social deduction game.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Until this point, it's been like, yeah, I'll play. But if someone says, I've been wanting to play Menace Among Us, it's like, sure, yeah, let's play.
Yeah, I would too. I think it's fun.
Granted, like I think you're right though. I would rather play with 5+. So that would probably be my one sticking point. If it's 4, is like maybe.
I feel like 4 players, you got so many other options for just games in general. Like when I think social deduction, I usually think larger player counts.
Yeah. But yeah, if we have 5 to 8 players, I would pull this out.
Yeah, I would too.
If we're all looking to play a game together. So yeah, Menace Among Us gets 2 thumbs in an upward direction from me.
Nice.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.